Hey guys, I'm Chris. That's VJ. That's Penrose, and this is all docked up.
I don't know what
We
that
are.
was.
I don't know what this is. This is titties.
I guess.
Like,
You remember
Because of my
Montgomery Ward
voice.
commercials?
Fabulous
Do you remember
voice.
Montgomery Ward commercials? Open, open, open. You remember that shit?
I do not. I was
You
like,
remember that? Oh, Montgomery
I
Ward.
remember
Y'all
Montgomery Wards. I don't remember
yeah.
that. I don't remember
No, they
this.
had a commercial where people would be lined up outside and they'd be on the window. Open, open,
Oh,
open.
okay, okay, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess we have a new
Never
hand
seen that.
gesture.
But fun fact, you can still.
Okay, so guys, we are doing something a little different since football season started. This is
It was
our
a
first.
lot, but you can still shop at Montgomery Wards online. They have like a catalog now.
They still have a catalog. Is she
Oh
frozen
wow.
again?
Yeah. This middle of they don't like us during the middle of the day.
So, guys, what we're trying to do is pre-record this so that I can release it later today or
Yes.
tonight. Yes, so they do have a catalog. If you guys are watching this, y'all clearly see what's happening. If you guys are listening
not
to this, we're
not
having
listen.
some
Hey,
technical
Dean, when you see this, I need you to go at VJ neck, nigga.
Tamara too. So look at her. Now she
Thank
look like
right.
now she look like Samira from The Ring.
I'm trying to
Now
find
she
someone's outfit.
now she look like the black girl from the original from no,
Come on.
that's not
Get it
her.
out there, Russ. Get it out there,
I was about
Mark.
to
Come
say the
on.
original black girl from My Wife and Kids, but that's not who she looked like right here. She
Okay,
looked like
okay.
Rudy when Rudy cried because she couldn't wear that dress. Mm.
Yeah, so what we're trying to do, guys, is pre-record these since we understand how important Sunday night football is, so that we can just release these so y'all can watch it, and she'll be back. So, we didn't say it the last time because it was like too far away, but happy late birthday, sir.
Oh, thank you. Real shit.
You're
Thank you.
welcome. You're
I
welcome.
appreciate it. I enjoyed the fuck out of myself.
I'm so glad that you did. I'm sorry we didn't make it out, but there will
No,
be
I
other
mean look,
times.
I totally understand. It was everybody that was there was hella enjoyable. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I definitely had a good ass time. My liver though is like nigga, relax.
And what are you drinking right now?
So I am drinking, but today, and you know, y'all can help me with this. Everybody that's looking, y'all can mark y'all calendars off too. Like from today till October 22nd, I'm not taking a drop of alcohol after today.
Why?
Okay.
That's been the plan since I knew I was leaving last Thursday to go to Atlanta. Today was the cutoff because I knew
Okay.
people was gonna be celebrating with me all week. So
Okay. Okay. Okay.
So why are we not drinking anything until October 22nd?
just cause I need to like lay off the alcohol. Cause
Okay.
anytime your doctor look at you and be like, my nigga, you know what I'm saying? You should probably
So your
lay
doctor
off.
said you were drunk, and now you have to stop.
my,
So you went to your appointment drunk as hell, and he was like,
And now he
"Bruh."
has questions and concerns. And
no, my doctor was like, blood, your liver's throwing up gang signs, and it's not the kind you
Oh
like. You know what I'm
no,
saying?
yeah, we're gonna need you to
Yeah.
have some more
So
water intake, sir.
just
We
drink
don't
some
want
water. It's
that.
gonna be okay. We're gonna get
We'll
through
be
it.
I had to.
okay.
My blood pressure was way through the roof. That's why. No need to talk about it. Had to bring
Okay.
that down. Finally
Okay.
got that under control. And then now
Okay.
he's like my liquor throwing. I mean my liver throwing gang signs. So
Okay.
today, I know it sounds stupid. Like why you still drinking for the week, nigga? Cause I'm a grown. But after
Because
today,
he's a grown. He's
all
a
right.
grown though.
Saying a
Okay, so
grown is like when old people be like, I seen it on the Twitter. The Twitter, nigga.
I read it on the Facebook. So
Facebook.
it looks like your change of scenery has helped, but as usual, we have our honorary fourth
Fourth
host.
hosting this motherfucker,
What's
right?
up? What's up? That's ma'am,
And
right? Is that ma'am? Is that ma'am?
Yeah, that's
That's
Athena.
that's ma'am.
That's ma'am. That's Athena. Athena Louise. Please sit down.
Okay,
Thank you.
okay, with this auntie middle name, but they don't
Yes.
know. Like,
right.
Thank you. Thank you. Lay down. God bless. Stay over there.
okay, so what I was trying to say and then everything happened was that we are pre-recording these to release these so that it does not interfere with y'all Sunday night football, because I understand how much that means to y'all. Also, because now the hockey season and football season is back, like I may not be available Sundays, so here we are. Because that's why we're recording this early, because I gotta go. Okay, so thanks, Athena. So let's go ahead and
lay down.
Right, she said she stays stiff arming her.
Right.
Okay, so guys, or Athena, if you'd like to tell us what we are watching this week.
We watched Voyeur.
Yes.
It's on Netflix.
Not to be confused with The Voyeurs on Amazon Prime, which I would highly suggest y'all go watch because that shit is fucking insane. But
And because
similar-ish.
and because y'all brother again is a nigga, I'm glad I went and looked at what the fuck we was watching because I damn near went and watched the one on Amazon to get ready. I was like,
nigga, if you'd have brought notes from The Voyeurs, I would have died.
I would have cried literal tears from my eyes because that is in no way a documentary. Like
I was like, that's why I turned it on. I was like, I don't think this is it, but I mean,
it's interesting. No, it was good, but definitely not a documentary. Guys, The Voyeur that we're talking about is on Netflix. It revolves around basically two guys, right?
Right.
Gay Talese, who is a reporter. He's like top shota of like the reporters. Like he's been a reporter been reporting.
Exactly.
His daddy was a tailor. He stays sharp. He is the Steve Harvey of white man suits.
I like journalism. Yeah, he's like the Steve Harvey white man journalism.
That motherfucking blue suit that they show periodically through I was like,
nigga, very slick. Very slick.
Real shit.
Having his little hats and stuff. I said, okay, I see you, gay. I'm mad.
He had the little kerchiefs and shit. Like,
right.
Nigga,
he stay dressed.
We'll get to it, but at the end when he showed up to make how do you show up to be like, I really don't give a fuck how you feel, but here go these roses. Look at me. You had that nigga showed up sharp as shit to be like, I don't give a fuck how you feel.
They was looking out the window waiting for him to come up. That's how fly he was, nigga. That's how you know your outfit is hidden when niggas is checking your outfit before you even present your outfit.
Nigga, like, I'm so mad at this nigga. I don't fuck with him. Damn, that nigga sharp.
And he came with flowers. God damn.
Right.
And wait, okay, since we at the end real quick, I'm mad that Gerald thought those flowers was for him now, but let's move on.
Dog.
Yeah, that was a little weird.
He was like, because he's trying to make it right. That's why he brought me roses.
No, nigga.
He's that right, sweetie. Not that
He just knows the lady lives here. That's it.
He's trying to bring flowers for the lady of the house. He don't got nothing for you, Gerald.
Nothing for you. So sorry. Okay, so the other guy is Gerald Foose, right? Foose?
Yes. Yep.
And he is the opposite of how we just described gay. He's very, like, I know the word seedy is generally used to, like, describe places, but, like, for some reason, seedy he gives me seedy vibes.
He's giving, like, if a seedy motel was a person. Like,
it would be Gerald Foose.
if you guys watched this when we did True Crime Story, Elisa Lam, if the Cecil Hotel was a person,
yes, it would be Gerald Foose. Should we get Athena? Like, can we get her own login? Like, we can get her.
I know, right?
Like, her own screen where she just does whatever
does what she wants to do. Like, if you want to be here, girl, I understand. Like, we have room. Like,
thank you. Just sit up.
We'll just add an Athena in cursive at the end of Penrose there.
Right. She was chilling with her. She was at the dog park the other day. They're like, I heard your mama got the hottest podcast out. She's like, yeah.
She'd be like, I be on there sometimes.
I be on there.
I be having features and stuff. You know.
Right.
Okay, guys. So like we said, like just very seedy, just fucking. If you could like think of like the creepiest nigga that you might have seen in 1973, that's Gerald Foose. Like he gives me very like bell bottom creep vibes. Like
it gives big Ron Jeremy energy. Like
yes, yo, my note says his voice is that of a creep. Like You know how, like,
Yeah.
especially in today's world where you can't just label anybody because, oh, you might get canceled. You
Right.
can't cancel me with this one. This nigga's voice says I do weird shit.
Yeah,
Like,
it does. Like
and
even
then
even if it wasn't what it is for this movie, like I would feel like he was like eating butter, like a stick of butter before bed or something. Like,
right, or
like,
country crock off a spoon while watching Saturday cartoons or
yeah,
something.
like some weird ass shit. No matter what.
Just weird. Gerald. Okay, so let's talk about voyeurism, right? So,
Right.
what is voyeurism? Voyeurism is like
It's,
the. Should I have gotten a real definition? I'll get a
I
real
mean,
definition.
the without like exact from Webster's is watching other people engage in whatever they like to engage in. Yet it's with consent. You can't be a voyeur without consent. Without consent, you're a fucking creep. You're a peeping tom. You are a
Yeah, does the actor watch
intruder of privacy.
people engage in whatever they're engaging in?
Yeah, the practice of gaining sexual pleasure from watching others. See, okay, so Webster or Oxford says the practice of gaining sexual pleasure from watching others when they are naked or engaged in sexual activity. And that's not necessarily that doesn't necessarily describe the stuff that Gerald was
was
doing all the
But
watching. But
and that's not really voyeurism because that says you're watching porn.
this definition does say
yeah,
that
the
you're
definition makes it sound like every time you've ever logged on to Pornhub, you were a voyeur.
Right, not at all.
look at me being a
Being a voyeur out here. Look at these exhibitionists on my screen. Yes, yes. Like,
beautiful
no.
works of art.
Right. Maybe I'm voyeurism. Like,
I'm
the
about to
fuck?
voyeur all over the place.
Ah,
Oh, good God. No, it's
voyeur baby.
yeah. I just
BJ, please take control of this.
no, that's I would, because I don't think that's what Gerald was doing, right? Some of it was, but it would seem to me that he just got off on being able to watch these people and them not consenting. So I think that this isn't necessarily even the right title, because I really feel like he was getting off on the fact that he could see these people and they
didn't
couldn't
know he
see
was
him
there.
and they didn't know he was there. I really don't
Right.
think that if they had consented to being watched, he would have like got off on it. He'd been like fuck this shit.
Yeah, and then think about it. A lot of it. They even detail it. A lot of what he saw, majority of what he saw, had nothing to do with sex.
Right.
You know what I mean? It was normal, everyday people. So it wasn't even like, not because he does admit to like masturbating at certain different times, like watching people. But a lot of the stuff when you weren't masturbating, it's like, I don't know if anybody's watched Community, but imagine Abed with a fucking observation deck. That's, I mean, but
Yeah.
Abed is a lot cooler than this nigga. But any
Yeah,
fucking
he's a lot cooler.
way. But I feel like he didn't have no friends. I feel like this was a well. I guess we'll get into it. I don't want to get my general synopsis of this nigga just yet, but
Right.
That nigga
Okay.
don't got no friends. Cause what?
No,
he
he
didn't.
literally said that at one point.
No, and he did. But I was gonna give a synopsis to say that this is the only reason that you would categorize this as voyeurism, because you had to attach it to something that sounds like something else that everybody else understands. This
Right.
isn't voyeurism. This
You-
is I'm lonely and I don't know how to engage with other people. So since we all need human interaction, this was his way of getting human interaction and finding. He called himself a researcher, which he did do social experiments. Yet this shit wasn't published in scientific magazines.
It was
And wasn't no
not
high school
controlled.
kids.
It wasn't
You know,
controlled.
at all.
No, he was just a nigga doing weird shit, fucking with people. And the
Exactly.
only reason they call this shit voyeur is because you can't call a fucking documentary creep.
I'm a creep.
Okay. Call a documentary creepy ass white man. So
Real shit.
It's really because ain't nobody about to. Niggas
Nobody's
might
gonna
still watch that.
well, I'm not gonna. Yeah, I would probably still tune in if I saw.
I'd be like, how creepy. Okay,
Right.
so
creepy ass white man. I'd be like, guys, we need to put it on the wheel.
hey,
this might be
that's white man.
Now
Okay,
I'm not watching Creepy Ass White Man the sequel though. I'm not watching part 2.
not two. The creepy white man.
Was
too.
good enough.
Nothing one.
Still creeping. Okay, so so I feel like Gerald's more on the peeping Tom side
Which I
of
think
like,
he says when he explained
yeah.
to somebody, they were like, "Oh, you're a peeping Tom," and then he's like, "No, I'm a no, you're a peeping Tom."
Okay, so I guess we'll just start the way that the documentary starts. Gerald tells us that he buys this hotel called the Manor House Hotel.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Where is this? Oh, where's this?
It's in Colorado. I don't
It's
remember.
in Colorado.
Okay.
Quick
Yeah, I didn't write
thing.
that
I
down.
don't know if anybody else noticed this, but it's on Scranton Street, and I died laughing when I
I
noticed
didn't
that.
see that.
Yes, 12700 Scranton Avenue.
Yep.
That's fucking amazing. That means
Right.
everything to me. Okay, so the Manor Hotel, he basically tells us that he bought it solely for the purpose to be a fucking peeping Tom.
Creep. Yeah.
Yeah. He's always wanted to do this on a large level.
Yes.
Right.
The wife in the movie or the documentary is a second wife, but
Right.
apparently he also had a first wife that was not opposed to this idea.
Right. She helped him do it just like the second one did.
So
which is weird. Like, how did he convince two separate bitches to be like, yeah, okay, yeah, you want to?
I need to see the picture. I need to see old pictures of him because this
I
doesn't make sense.
don't think it's a thing of convincing. I think is if you go back and look at those times, one thing that he said, which I don't like how he said it, but it still made sense, is when he kept bringing God into everything, and they showed him remove the wine bottle, and he was like, God can do this. He just takes stuff away and make it happen, right? I think that whole thing of having power, he didn't have to convince those women. Most people, if you think about the time we're talking about, you're talking about running a side of the road motel. You probably really don't have a lot of social interaction. And I think the women were just like him. It was a power thing. I don't think they were as creepy as him. They don't. There's not too much talk of them going up in the observation deck and being up there all night like he was. But I think they were okay with it because it was a sense of power. Motherfuckers coming in, you know that people that you are checking in and you're talking and you're asking them about their day, your husband's about to come downstairs and be like, bitch, let me tell you you know what I'm saying? So
Right.
I think that's really what that was.
So Anita is his second wife. When they buy this hotel, before he lets anybody come into it, he creates this like upper deck.
Right.
It's like he raises the roof is like in a position where like the tippy top of that roof, he decides to make like a walkway kind of, and like a basically like
he puts an attic up there. Like it's an attic space that he converts and like makes it to a walkway situation.
Right, like an observation deck, like
right.
you said. Well, I'm not gonna get into the discrepancy of the hotel at this point because we don't know that yet. So
what you mean?
January about.
Oh, never mind.
Okay.
Yeah.
So January 7th, 1980, Gerald sends a letter to Gay. Gay is not only like a newspaper journalist, but he has also written books and things like that. So there is this really popular book that he wrote called Thy Neighbor's Wife. I don't really know what it's about, but it seems like it's just about like sexual fucking like.
That's what I gather. Just different types of sex, group sex, single sex, married sex. He was doing a book about sex from the East Coast to the West Coast.
Right.
Yeah.
How different people have sex in different situations.
So Gerald reads this book, I'm assuming, and Gerald even says, like, before we understand how deep their relationship got, that Gay was like everything to him. Like he thought he was like an amazing writer and blah blah blah. So he sends him a letter in 1980, basically like, "Yo, I got some shit you might want to check out." Right? Like that's basically what the gist of the letter was.
He contacted that man like he was writing in the back of Hustler, like.
He really did. It was really like.
And then he wrote a long ass letter too. It wasn't like a couple of pages. It was like 4 or 5 pages. And then he was like, let me give you my address if you ever want to come, check out what I'm into. And it definitely gave like Craigslist.
So my question to you guys we get a letter, right? We get a letter and they're like, yo, you guys love documentaries. I got some shit that nobody's ever fucking done a documentary on. And he goes into long lengths about what the fuck it is. And it's kind of creepy by the end we're kind of like, and he gives an address. Do we go?
Do we have niggas with us from Black Forces?
I mean, yeah, we
mean,
would go. That nigga,
I'm going. What's
he
probably
would
going?
go. Like he's 80. He didn't need to go. We
we could go. Like I feel
Right.
like we could go.
I'm probably going.
Yeah,
Real
yeah.
shit.
He was solo. It's three of us. You're right. Gay is like, he reads this. He's like, because he's a fucking journalist. He's like, I gotta meet this nigga. Like, and so he fucking packs a bag and he goes to the fucking Manor House Hotel, and Gerald takes him up there.
shows him, shows him the attic, shows him how you got the little door set up. They go in, he got the little heating grates in the rooms,
the fake vents, right?
Little fake vents that he could look down through, and then him and Gay actually do some voyeurism, kind of, and then his tie is in the vent over these people's heads.
This was the best part of the whole documentary to me. I'm not gonna lie. The truth that listening to Gay, I put myself in his shoes and I was like, yeah, I could see if you went up there, you're looking at all these rooms and you come across some chick. Well, he said they were an attractive couple. He said, old girl is going in pretty. The way he was talking, she's going in on this blowjob, and so he's like, oh, like closer and closer. And all of a sudden, this nigga tie slips through the fucking vent. And he
Probably
says,
the finest tie them niggas ever seen.
right.
But it's
and they like,
the silky.
And that's my thing. She had to be going in. Because if they were in the normal position of a blowjob, especially laying on the bed, my guy, how did you not see the tie come through unless she was giving the golf 80,000? You know what I'm saying? There's no way.
Eyes closed, rolled back in his head. He ain't seen shit. Mama got
nothing.
3,000. He ain't seen nothing.
Look. She's got the 2022 version.
Listen, right.
So Gay has gone. He has seen, and he is super interested in the story.
Right.
Do we want to go and talk about how Gay spent that time as a resident writer, like at that like nudist colony or whatever?
Yeah. I mean, it kind of ties into it a little bit because it would make you wonder why would a person, even if you want to write this story, why'd you go upstairs and watch? Because you're fixated on sex in the sense of getting into that part. When he wrote Thy Neighbor's Wife, this nigga went on a ranch and stayed with people and cheated on his wife and had group sex. And it doesn't say gay sex. He says, I've had sex with other people.
Yeah.
Usually, you know what I'm saying? A nigga that's fucking women, you say, yeah, I fucked women. When you say other people, it kind of makes me feel like you just was in that group, like, fuck it, whatever feels good.
Like the fucking like ball of snakes, like.
Yeah. Or like a rat king or some shit. Real shit.
Yeah,
like
that's what I got from it. It was just a giant ass mating ball, and he was like, yes, let me take my clothes off and write about it. And
right.
And then the poor wife, they had her in the audience of all these talk shows.
On
Donahue.
Yeah, Miss Mama. What was her name? Nan?
Yeah.
They had Miss Nan up there, and she was like, well, I mean, I can't tell him what to do. He's an adult. Baby, you can get a divorce. You don't got to stay because this nigga want to write books and subjects. Like, y'all have to stay.
Nan wasn't going nowhere. They got 2 kids, and this nigga the top nigga out of his motherfucking newspaper. Shit, Nan wasn't going no goddamn where. And he knew it.
Nan said she was lit. She was good. Nan said, never mind.
He had that nice ass brownstone. She fine.
Yeah,
right.
She's like, do you know how hard it is to find a nice place to live in? No.
Right. So Gerald has like mad notes.
Yeah.
They're probably more detailed than yours, VJ. Like,
yeah,
super extensive, just like very descriptive. He's like, so what were some of the descriptions? Like black
male, unemployed, possibly 5'10". You know what I'm saying? White male, white wife, really tiny waist, 26 years old. Like,
and it's like, well, how do you know all this stuff?
Like,
he putting this stuff that he just made up because it's like,
how can you tell a nigga got a job or not? Like,
right?
You know, shoe size possibly 8. How do you wait?
Black. Look, when I when I saw Black Businessman and I thought about the year that it was and the town we was going through, I said, Fillmore Slim stopped off in Colorado? Like, damn. Like, sheesh, that's all right, nigga. All right.
Yeah, it was a lot. Them descriptions were given a little bit more than he could have possibly seen through a fake heating grade. I'm so sorry.
Right.
He was basically like, it made me feel like he was at check-in and he was like having like small conversations with niggas.
Yes.
And then when he handed them the key, when that door closed, he was like,
Right.
Climb up that ladder. Look at that.
yeah.
He's like,
Real
to
shit.
get up there before they open the door. Because like he just had too many descriptions for me.
Now, the one description he gave made me a little uneasy because I thought about my own pets I've had. When that nigga said he was in the room and the people had dogs and he didn't like it because, you know, a dog notices everything. And now it makes me think to the time that my dog was crawling up to the vent, like, the fuck was in there, nigga? Like, was it a rat? Was it a nigga? Was it
a nigga with a silk tie?
You know, right. Gay, have you been to my home?
right, because dogs do. And I mean, sometimes I catch my dogs looking at random shit like the Steeler. They're like transfixed on something, and you're like, "What are you looking at?"
What is it? Like, what is it? Please tell me what it is. Like, if anytime you wanted an animal to talk, like, that's when they do weird shit
now
like
I'm
that.
just like, God damn, it's been a nigga peeping in the house this whole time. You ain't said nothing.
You
Like,
ain't said you just fixated. You want to bark at the motherfucking mailman on TV, but you don't want to bark at a nigga looking through the window.
It's a nigga in the wall, and y'all not gonna say nothing. It's a nigga in the wall.
Y'all just be following him and just follow him back and forth.
Right.
Like.
Niggas be, I be wondering where my kid fruit snacks be going. The nigga that live in the wall that the dog ain't told me about.
That the dog won't say nothing about because he got dog treats in the wall and he waits for
everybody
to sleep and he throwing off the fucking vent. The dog's cool.
I'm waking up drunk as shit. Like, did I eat that fruit snacks? No, it was James. Like,
James in the wall got that little fucking jail kite thing, nigga.
Like,
right. Pulling it through the shit. Like,
got his ass again, dog. Got his ass again.
Terrible.
But okay, Gerald had like 2,000 to 3,000, well, supposedly people a year that he says that he examined.
Right.
Do you feel like this hotel was getting that much traffic, or am I just like overthinking?
No.
You got. We talking the side of the road motel. We talking about people that's probably staying there.
It was the 80s.
Maybe it's the 80s. You talking about people staying there no longer than maybe 3 days tops. You know what I'm saying? So,
I like my heart wants to say no because that is a lot of goddamn traffic, but also drugs.
Yeah,
that's true.
When's last time you been to a Motel 6? Been a minute, right?
What's the one they say? Well, keep the light on. Is that
that's them? It's been a minute since you've been there, but they still in business. That means niggas still go. There's a lot of people. That's what I'm saying. Like, I ain't been to no Motel 6 since my early 20s when it was kind of okay to go. I rolled past one the other day. I was like, those were the heroin whites hang out. All right.
Everything else in that big listen, they must really leave the lights on because I'm telling you, everything else in town closed at 11 o'clock. Guess what? Don't close at 11. The parking lot hopping. They over there.
Legs in the Motel 6. Open.
Parking lot hopping. Cars, dogs, prostitutes.
Not dogs.
How you let out? How you let out at the Motel 6?
They was out, baby. Barbecue. I missed my turn and happened to be going all the way back around. Was like, fuck it, I'll cut through the parking lot. I'm telling y'all, van doors open, dogs with barbecue grills by the empty ass pool and shit cooking. Like when I tell you that bitch was hopping, like if I wasn't afraid, I'd have been like, "Can I get a plate or what's up?" It smells good over here. What y'all got going?
What y'all about to do?
What about to do? Oh, is that?
I got a couple of White Claws in the back. I mean,
right. Y'all can have these.
I got the white. I don't want a mess. Thank you.
I'm okay on that. Just the biscuit,
biscuit and maybe a piece of bread. But no, I don't need you sprinkling the crack on it.
Right.
That's okay. I don't want your spice blend. It's okay.
Right. I like my crack separate from my meal. That's fine. I'm straight.
I'm okay. I don't
right. You're like backing away with the plate. Like, I'm gonna just take this and maybe I'll swing back through on the crack part. I don't know.
Right,
I'm all
you know what I'm saying? Maybe if they don't get too full off this brisket, I'll come back over for the crack.
I'll come back up for dessert and crack. I'm not sure, but I'll see. I'll see.
I'm gonna bring a few friends too. Like,
so okay, we hear Gerald throughout or during this part tell us a couple stories that he's experienced, right?
right.
There's one where he's watching a couple. He thinks they're very attractive, and they're about to fuck. And then they turn all the lights off. The lights off, the TV off, so it's pitch black.
Well, hold on, wait. Before you tell that, because this part was before this, can we talk about why this nigga said he is the way he is, which takes it again. This is not voyeurism.
Oh, sorry,
it's
about
creepiness.
His mind. About his mind.
This nigga says that his first infatuation with being a peeping Tom was looking at his aunt because she stayed in a home probably like 20, 30 yards away from his own. And she was younger than his mom, a better body than his mom, which made me feel like, Nick, are you looking at your mom?
Your mom, yeah, like, why are you comparing her to your mom?
Exactly. And he goes to explain how, because we all know that the carpet matched the drapes, but the way that he explained it was her bush was fiery red, and she had really big breasts, and this is what has me attracted to big breasts. Which I thought it was funny that when he said that, they panned over to old Cannon Titty Anita. that young picture of Anita, hey, them things was stinking. I ain't gonna lie.
Oh my
god. But the fact that we're here and we're watching this man who I guess mildly successful. I mean, if you ran a hotel and motel and you didn't run it into the ground, and from what we can see how he's living, you've been mildly successful or successful enough. But you're fixated. You're at this point in your life and you're blending it with your success, and it's all built off you having your first masturbation sequence and infatuation with your fucking aunt. You were built to be weird from the beginning.
He wanted to see her freckles.
Yes,
dog, right. I didn't know what freckles were.
Nigga,
she got enough on her face. That's enough.
Right. That's enough. That's what freckles are.
This is your aunt. There's nobody that's watching this right now that has mistakenly seen a naked family member and was like, "Ooh, no, bitch, no."
Like, nigga,
you doing the shit the new TikTok trend with the hand that people be hitting their dog. You doing that shit? Like, just get out of here. Get out of here. No.
I don't want to see that.
Right. Please leave.
So thank you for that because I forgot to write that. But okay, no. This couple is about to fuck. Turn the lights, the TV off. It's pitch black. This nigga is up there like, you motherfuckers. So this nigga goes down the fucking, was that a good down the ladder?
That was down. I think it was down. Right.
Okay, so he get down and he goes to his car, pulls his car so that the front of the car is adjacent to the front window, turns on the light. So he just got his car running. He gets out the car and he's like, back up the ladder so he can go watch these niggas have sex.
This is disgusting. For me, this is even.
That's a fucking lot.
That's what I was gonna say. There was a lot for me because, like, have you ever been in your house and you open the fucking blinds to let natural light in and you still like, damn, that's not enough. So let me turn some lights on in here, right? So that's what that made me think of. They turned all their lights off, nigga. You got a car light shining through. That's still not enough to really illuminate the room to the point to where you can see everything. You were that pressed on watching people have sex that you're gonna deal with just that little bit of light,
and possibly a dead battery, depending on how long they in there.
I mean, it was the 80s, and aren't they gonna notice? Like, you flashing lights through their window, and they just like, cool.
Well, the dude, he did say that he heard the dude say some motherfucker left their car on.
Right.
But I mean, like, he naked, he not gonna go outside, so.
Right. He probably just turned backwards. Let me hit this from the back. You know what I'm saying? Like, shit. Right. Keep away from these windows.
Basically.
But and it's weird when you think like he's a creep. And I the only thing I will say in somewhat of a good light is thank God he wasn't a murderer or a rapist or some shit like that. Because when you think about this, these people are vulnerable in the sense of if you rent a motel hotel, one of the biggest things about it, it's like that shit that was going around on Twitter the other day. When you go on vacation and you go to your hotel, what's the first thing you do? And motherfuckers was talking about how they look around. You stand there like, God damn, this is nice. It puts you in a you're comfortable. These people they have false comfort. You know what I'm saying? Like nigga, like this nigga lights is on, cool. I'm still gonna fuck my girl, but you're thinking that I'm just turning my back to get away from the light. Not saying he did if he did this.
That the only like
Annoyance
the
is
only
these lights.
issue is the lights, and not that
Exactly.
it's a nigga hovering over
Upstairs watching you and your
breathing
girl
hard
get
as
down.
shit. Right.
Right.
Well, I mean, you have
Come
to
on,
think
man.
about it. Like you go to a hotel, there's one way in, there's one way out. It's a controlled environment. They've made the windows to where you can't open them because people jump. So essentially, in your mind, you are pretty fucking safe because if somebody comes in, you gonna fucking see them. And also, how are they gonna get in through this big ass, thick ass fucking hotel door? So the least of your worries is somebody doing something to you while you're in a hotel.
Yep.
Unless you've let them in.
I mean, because you're right. Like on the brighter side, he could have been a murderer. He could have got up there to go see when you guys were at your fucking like your least
sleep or most vulnerable,
fucking, and then went down and opened that fucking door and fucking did whatever he's gonna do.
Yeah, real shit.
Which is wild. There
still doesn't excuse him.
The Criminal Minds episode about something like that.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, like the guy people were staying at the motel and he was like murdering them. He
What was
this
on?
Criminal Minds. Like it was some crazy ass dude and the people were staying in the hotels, but he was like building like trap doors. Not he just was looking through the vent. Like he had built like a system between
like a murder hotel.
Huh?
Like a murder hotel?
Basically, like it was super H.H. Holmes murder castle, but but it was a roadside motel, like a travel lodge, and he had built like a door, so he was like going in and out of their bathrooms, and so they would like see stuff missing or like hear stuff, but it was because he was able to come in and out of there, and then when they would get in, he would lock the doors and shit, so then they were like bolted in to the room. Like it was super crazy.
Oh no.
So, but when I first watched this, I was concerned that he was murdering people because that's all I thought.
It's weird.
He was murdering people.
There was another story. There was another story where one of the maids complained about sheep sounds. It was some cosplay happening. Is it cosplay or is that what we call it? I don't know. Is it cosplay when they're fucking?
Role play?
Cosplay is just cosplay.
So I guess role play is.
So what is cosplay when your dick is out?
I mean.
Better,
I guess. I don't know.
So yeah, like it's role play if you're just dressed up as something.
Because cosplay means costume play. So you're dressed up as something. So I guess it still is cosplay. But this is like, you remember when everybody was like talking about the furries? Yes, that's what this made me think of.
Yeah, maybe it's more on furry shit. Because I think that's the difference. You can dress like a sheep, but when your dick is out, you're
now you're furry.
Furrying. Yeah, we'll say furrying. That sounds right.
So the maid's like, yo, I think there's a fucking animal in that room. And then of course he's like, and he goes up and he looks down, he's like, oh no, it's just two dudes fucking. Like, okay, so whatever. And then there was another time where he was looking and the KFC guy.
Yeah.
He has a bucket of KFC chicken. And he just goes and lays on the bed and he's got a stack of napkins right next to the bucket and he's eating this chicken, just eat this chicken. And then his hands are fucking, KFC greasy. And so he fucking goes and rubs them on the bed sheet. And that infuriated Gerald so much that he said, son of a bitch.
Right.
And he said it that this nigga was like,
who the fuck said that shit? Yo, can I be real? Did anybody else think that the way he was building this story up, that he was about to tell it that a nigga masturbated with KFC grease?
I totally thought he was just gonna stick his dick in the fucking bucket and just like.
Okay, it's not
I
just
definitely thought it was gonna be some sex shit with some greasy ass original recipe, nigga.
Right. You're not doing this for extra crispy.
Extra crispy.
It turned out so much less ridiculous than I had thought. So good.
Right.
Although it is like I get his frustration like that much because it's like, why did you get that many napkins from him if he wasn't gonna use?
And it's right next to the motherfucking bucket, homie. Like,
my God damn,
you got everything you need right here.
Like, we gotta watch that.
Yeah.
Come on.
You know somebody else is go check in tomorrow, right? You fucking up my motherfucking money.
So I guess at some point, Gerald feels like he's not getting enough excitement.
Not enough sex.
Sorry, y'all coming in here and y'all really just using my hotel
Y'all
for
watching the
sleeping,
TV,
for sleeping and enjoying each other
going
and
to bed
shit.
for work.
Right.
Like,
Right. So
You really reading the Bible in the fucking desk, nigga? Oh, I gotta do something about this.
so next to the Bibles, he starts planting dildos.
and
Dildos and porno
porno
mags.
mags, yeah.
The funny part, though, for me with that is when he talks about the dildos and porno mags, which I guess I get it. A lot of times when you hear porno mags, you hear men, and when you hear dildos, you hear women. He put both of those together with women. He didn't give a fuck what niggas was doing. The niggas was a byproduct of being with women. That nigga say, yo, I put the dildos in the room. You know, some people bring them down there like, hey, clean your goddamn room.
Get this shit out of here.
He said, but when they didn't, when they used them.
Because why
Which is very gross because you can't. It's just a loose dildo. It's a loose dildo in a public. This is a public dresser.
It's a loose ass dildo that you don't belong to.
This is before the days of like sanitary bags and shit.
A dildo would have had to have been still in its Amazon packaging for me to fucking take it out and use it.
Well, even then, you know, you have people that would take it out and then use it, rinse it off, and then
try to retape it.
Let me put it back in the packaging where I found it so they don't think I used it. Yeah, like
what if hotels started doing that, you guys?
No. If you just showed up and there was sex toys in the
like if you thought it was like an ironing closet, but then you open it up and it's just like shit, just like fucking just like butt plugs and fucking.
They do it like the mini bar where if you take it, you got to pay for it.
Yes, you got to pay for it. Like it's new and nobody else is using it because they just put it in here.
Now that I'm fucking with it. If I can prove ain't nobody use it, and it's like you charging me like the mini bar for a sex toy fucking closet. Yeah, I'm fucking with it. Hardcore.
So what you're saying is this needs to be our new invention, and we need to park.
We need to make sex toy closets for hotels and motels.
We about to.
You know the way the world works. By the time you get off work tonight, you're gonna be googling like, no. Yep. Somebody took our shit already.
God damn.
Okay, so he super enjoying these experiment results with the ladies, and so he wants to take it a step further because now it's sometimes this is why I teeter with like Peeping Tom and like Voyeur with him because sometimes it's not always about sex. Sometimes it's just about the way that people react to things or just truly to observe. So the suitcase experiment. They have a conversation in the lobby, and it's overheard that somebody left $1,000 in the suitcase, and then the person goes to their hotel, and there's a suitcase in their closet. He never said if the money was ever in there.
Real shit. That's what I was wondering too. Like, did anybody ever get 1,000?
Because he was saying that people were going into the suitcase, and they were like trying to like hide that they had it. Like throwing it away, like in weird places, throwing it out the window,
out the bathroom window,
driving it away to a different location. But I never knew what was in it. I don't, because if it's not $1,000 in it, I'm gonna leave that shit up in the closet. Like
right, and I'm gonna say I never touched it.
Right,
prove to me I broke it, because you ain't about to snitch on yourself.
Right. I don't know.
Well, also they didn't know what room it was in, right? He just told them that it was in a room, so they looking.
But he was saying like he would tell the niggas that's checking in. He having a conversation as they checking in. So when they go to their room to, you know what I'm saying, hang their shit up, you see a suitcase in the closet ain't yours, you automatically like, oh, let me try to jimmy this lock, nigga. You know what I mean? So,
I've never taken my clothing and hung them in the hotel.
That's such a weird. I mean, I know people do it, but that's weird to me. I've never done it.
Which I guess if it was a suit or something that you didn't want to get like.
That's what I was about to say. Anything I've hung up in a hotel closet literally came in a garment bag already on hangers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I didn't open my shit and
And
unfold
like
it, then put.
unfold it and hang. Yeah, I'm not doing that.
The
Definitely
fuck
not
is
doing
that for? That's why you have
Yeah.
an iron in this room, nigga, so I don't have to hang shit up. Like, what the fuck?
that.
Which honestly, in the grand scheme of things, that's not weird. What's really the weird serial killer people are the people that unpack their suitcase into the drawers.
Hella,
Yeah.
hella, and you there
Like,
for like you got a suite
yeah.
for like 2 weeks, maybe. You at the water park for 36 hours? What the fuck are you doing?
Gingerly unpacking your whole suitcase into these
Just
people's
like
razor drawers.
And then different drawers. You got an underwear drawer, a
right,
sock
your
drawer.
sock
Nigga, it's a hotel.
drawer.
Hey, baby, look at that one on the bottom of the bed. Pull out. Does it pull out? Okay, put. Like,
I'm
no.
gonna put my
My blue
sweaters
jeans
there.
in there.
Right. Put my good jeans over here. I'm gonna put my dress.
My dress jeans in the closet and put my
I'm
blue
gonna
Right.
hang my
jeans in
dress
there.
strings up. I'm gonna go ahead and hang my dress
I'm gonna
strings
hang
up.
my dresses. You don't know nobody in this town. What the fuck are we doing? You can't do that when
Okay.
you a nigga like me that literally woke up 20 minutes before checkout. I don't have time to
I
pick
don't
all of
have
that
time.
shit back
I'm
up.
gonna leave my dress jeans.
Now we at your mama house and I ain't got my
And I
dress
got no
jeans
dress
because you want to pack every goddamn thing. The fuck? I can't deal with this shit. I gotta go to the goddamn local mall and your mama stay in a small ass town, so to Walmart so I can get me
jeans.
some dress jeans.
How are you supposed to get your good dress jeans from Walmart? Now you
That's
got
what I'm saying.
to
That's
Now
what
you
I'm
wear
saying.
Wranglers. Oh, this is terrible. Okay, so
Wrangler boot cut and shit. Motherfucker.
you got the Brett Favre specials, nigga. Let's stop. Okay.
Woo,
Wait.
woo.
Okay, so.
And you put my belt in the dress jeans, you're a bitch.
I ain't got no belt either, Lord. Okay, that's
Oh, Lord.
Mama looking at me like I'm a heathen and shit.
And she's like, don't bring that boy back over here.
Right.
It's all your fault.
That black man
Okay.
wear Wranglers with no belt. Baby. Mm-mm.
Oh my
Oh
god.
shit.
Okay, so
Shout out to
um,
you niggas who wear Wranglers in the club because y'all hoping we think they Levi's. Fuck out of here.
please stop, please.
this is terrible. Okay.
Woo. You just got the numbers showing.
Take the wheel.
My bad, my bad. Woo. Nigga, we know niggas don't regularly wear 502s, so when we see it, we know they Wranglers, nigga. You ain't never Levi makes a 502. You don't know nan nigga that got it.
I don't know no nigga that wears them. I only know that because I used to work in a clothing store.
Right, they make them.
I
You don't
don't
know nan
know.
nigga that
I'm
one.
not even sure so like I can only name the numbers that I know from like people I've dated. So I know they're like 501s, like 511 is like a straight leg.
Mhm.
I dated a
Yeah.
husky guy, so like 569 is like an athletic, like a loose fit or whatever.
Okay.
Like,
508.
yeah, it's like I don't. What the fuck is a 502? Like what?
Wranglers.
Exactly. Wranglers.
Okay.
Mm.
Okay.
I just
Okay.
what fit
So,
exactly
I might
is
change my Twitter name today.
right, like
Mr.
what fit is that?
502.
502 skinny fit.
502 Slim Fit.
Look, yeah, you got the dress jean on the end.
What? 502 Dress
502 white dress jean.
Oh shit. I like my dress jeans with a crease, bitch. Like, oh my god.
Okay.
Okay, all right, for real.
So that suitcase experiment. Okay, so then Gerald, this is where he tells us that he saw a murder.
Yes.
Yeah, he saw
And
that.
he details this story so much though that is like
Did you see a murder?
because he
So
details the story. Well, go ahead.
mhm.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. It doesn't matter. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say he details the story and he tells us this story of being up on an observation deck. He sees a guy selling drugs to kids, is what he says. Now, this is a back and forth, guys. So everybody who hasn't watched this yet, it's a back and forth where they're showing Gerald, then they're showing Gay. And so Gay says, yeah, Gerald had a kid who was a drug addict.
Who's a drug addict?
And so Gerald, that enraged Gerald because, and that's the thing. This is when I knew it was a little fishy because you didn't just say he was selling drugs. Like if you're mad that your kid's a drug addict, at the point that you were at that time, your kid was probably grown. Like so, it's not that he was selling drugs to kids. It should have just been that he was selling drugs. So he says he's the guy's putting him in a vent, a real vent. Him and his girlfriend leave the room. Gerald scurries on back down the ladder, runs into the motherfucking room, takes the drugs, and then the people come back. The guy wants to make another drug sale, and they're not there. So the only person he starts blaming is his girlfriend because that's the only person who would have known where the drugs were.
Right.
This turns into a scuffle, and then the scuffle goes from a scuffle to the man is strangling the woman. Gerald is watching this the entire time, watching this woman. This is the part for me to where if you really saw a murder, this is the part to where even if I was that creepy, I feel like I have to.
You gotta climb down the ladder, nigga.
And go tell, I gotta bite the bullet that I've been a creep and go tell the cops that hey, somebody's being murdered. You know what I'm saying? Because my thing about the whole thing was he says he strangles her, she drops to the ground. And his reason for not doing anything at the moment was I can still see her breathing.
I swore to God I saw her chest
up and down.
Up and down.
Because my thing about that is, how the fuck do you go to bed at night knowing that there's possibly somebody in your hotel that's lying on the floor dying?
And if nothing else, the person is in need of medical attention, right?
Right.
So
right.
Even if you don't, because all this sounds like to me is I don't want people to know that I am creepy and saw this through the vent. Because if I say I saw someone get strangled to death, I have to explain how I saw that.
Right.
But because this is what I'm thinking. Okay, boom, I'm a creep, right? So I see this shit. I can't let it happen. I'm down the fucking ladder. Boom. I'm going to act like I was doing some rounds and act like I hear something. And I hear something, and now I'm knocking.
You say I need to check the bathroom because the one next to you is wrapped up and the toilets are linked together.
Anything.
Yep.
And then the cops would have come and you would have told them that story and they would have investigated and never knew there was a fucking observation deck, and then that would have been it.
That would have been it. Nigga would have saved their life.
Which sounds like he just didn't try, and he might have got off on the fact that Miss Mamas was getting choked in the hotel.
Real shit.
His dick was is what we're basically saying. So, okay. Where are we? Okay, so basically, then remember we said Gay and Gerald, this is back and forth, right? And then Gay says, that basically, is he a braggart, right?
Yeah.
Listening to this story and knowing the small connections that they have to his own personal life, and why in his right mind, like we just said, why didn't he feel inclined to do anything?
Right.
And then it was to the point that he let somebody else find the body,
right, the maid the next morning type shit,
yeah.
So but my thing about it too is because of course we'll get to the part that now that I think about this and we're talking about this, the fact that he was excited to see the maid go to the room. He said that I waited to watch her go to that room. Why? If you thought this lady was alive, that means that when the maid gets there, the most that she's gonna find is maybe a room in some sort of disarray. It's almost like you were anticipating her finding a dead body.
A dead body, yeah. That's what I got from it. He got off on seeing that lady be strangled to death, and his out is, I thought she was still breathing, but then he couldn't hide the fact that he was excited and aroused, because then it's like, I wanted to see the look on the maid's face when she found a dead body.
Exactly. Now, to tie in, because, we might have to jump a little bit, but I want to jump to the fact that ties in with this, because when you bringing up him being a braggart, nobody can find any motherfucking proof of this murder.
Right. So, hold on. I want to bring up the reason why Gay decides to investigate this.
Okay, for sure.
I think it's because when he visited Gerald and he went down to the basement and he saw, this is the house, guys, not the hotel. and he sees all the things that he collects.
Right.
And then we also know that his collections and stuff tie in also with his obsession with his aunt because she was a collector.
But she was a collector, right?
So he wanted to collect things as well. He's got mad car, like fucking baseball cards, Mickey Mantles, just crazy, insane shit. Signed baseballs, just insane fucking shit. And he's on camera.
I wanted to rob the nigga.
This part is important because later he gets mad about it. But he's on camera showing these cards, saying this is worth $500,000 to $1 million, and Gay's like, "Yo, he just throwing out these numbers. That sounds kind of crazy for a baseball card, but also I'm not a collector. I don't know." But he's spending this time, and he's just saying he's just throwing out all of these numbers and just really like feeling full of himself that he has and owns and collects these things. And this strikes something in Gay. So he's like, "Is this nigga lying?"
Right.
Because he's like, he's giving me so much detail about shit I don't care about or don't know or understand that, like, is he a liar? And so that prompts that. I think that interaction prompted Gay to start to investigate this murder that he said that he saw.
Which is super weird when you think about it, because his whole life is him being an investigative journalist and doing this in-depth or whatever. And it's like you break the first rule of journalism. Like, you don't fact check any of this shit this person is telling you, but you're going to write a book about it. But you
remember, he said he couldn't fact check it because he was the only. He said that though. He did kind of admit it. Like, you shouldn't write anything about one source.
That's the number one thing. If you have one source, like, it's not a story. Like,
it's not. Yeah. So
I can't corroborate the story. So no, that doesn't work.
I think that what really happened is that he just got too close to this nigga. I think that they really at some point, because they've known each other, guys, since 1980.
1980, right?
Since that fucking letter, since that letter
got sent. Then dropped to 2017.
Right. So they've known each other for a long, very, very long period of time, and I think he just got caught up in their friendship. Yeah. And I think that it felt easy to believe the things that he was saying up until we are here.
Because if you look, for everybody who hasn't seen it, when we first get the first interview with Foose, he's got jet black fucking hair. And then there's another part in the documentary where this nigga is Silverman white. And you can tell that was not dyeing his hair. Like, so they had to shoot this over different periods of time. So yeah, they've been in contact multiple times and hung out multiple times. So
So I did some outside digging because I was curious about that. So there's a Vice article, which I'll have to get you guys a link for, but they talk about the kind of behind the scenes of how this is just a fucking insane story. Gay basically told them, which they talk about later, that Gay asked them to dress up and not dress like their regular selves. Right. Gay had Gerald dye his hair black.
So that is dye.
This takes place over the course of about 6 months.
Wow. Honestly,
that pink suit was giving me very Gay vibes. Like, I was like, this nigga don't own that suit. Like,
yeah, this whole filming situation is over the course of 6 months. So he had him dye his hair.
Okay, because it looked like he looked like an old nigga that would have been. Because when he's 78 with the stark white, I'm like, yeah. But with the jet black, my man was like 55. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? He didn't look like an old, decrepit ass white dude with the jet black.
Yes, I need that article. I want to read that. Okay.
I'll send you the link. I was like, that is fascinating. But yeah, he had him dye it.
No doubt.
So Gay wants to investigate this murder now. And in the meantime, he's still gearing up to be writing this book, right? And so he reaches out to his daughter, who's a painter.
A painter, yeah.
Artist. And he wants her to draw a picture of the hotel. All the pictures of the hotels that her dad has given her, she doesn't really like the perspective of it. So she, as an artist, wants to go and look at the landscape to see, what the backgrounds are, like what I can imagine into the picture that I'm drawing of this hotel. Right. And she finds out that it was torn down. Nobody knew it was torn down. Why was that not weird? That wasn't weird?
That was extremely weird to me to say that you sold it to a guy and then you never. I mean, I guess if you sell something, you don't have to think about it anymore. But it's not weird to me that Foose didn't know it was tore down, that Gerald didn't. But it is weird to me that Gay
That
didn't,
Gay didn't
because
know.
you're the one doing the story. You're asking your daughter to draw. At this point, when you're asking her to draw this picture, she's an adult. Like, she's doing it because you're her dad. How
Right.
have you not done any more? Which leads back to what you said. He probably, a lot of it, he was going off of their friendship. What this dude says, I'm a go with it, even though it almost made him look like a fucking idiot. You know what I mean?
Because
Because
if you're doing a that type of story, then I don't understand why he didn't not necessarily stay in the motel, but you were able to you were fine with stripping off your clothes and going and fucking a bunch of random strangers for a book for 6 months, but you couldn't stay at the hotel or spend the
right,
night there or spend a couple of weeks there or just
yeah,
because from what
real
I
shit.
understood, you only went up to the observation deck like one time. If
One
you're
time,
story, I'd have been there for a month and we'd have just been up in the observation deck every day. Because
real
what the fuck
shit.
are we even doing? Like,
Right. Right.
Yeah, no,
He's basically writing a story based off of the notes that this nigga Gerald wrote. That's
but remember,
basically
he said when he
this
was
would be
telling his
fine if he was a
editor,
fiction writer.
right? But remember, he told his editor, even he was like, I don't even know if we should put in there that I went up there that one time because I don't want the audience to look at me like I'm a creep. You know what I mean? So I wonder if that maybe that was his mindset, even as a young journalist, or whenever. Well, 1980, he was still young enough. But when he went up there, like, was it like, all right, I can verify that this is real. I don't want to do this again to fuck up my credibility. That's the only thing I'm thinking. But to further your point though, VJ, he should have at least stayed at the motel. You know what I mean? Like, if you're writing this story, you need more in depth, concrete evidence and all of this other shit. Stay there. Verify that some of the people that he said was there was there.
he should.
Anything.
You know what I'm saying? So
Anything.
Um. So, like we said, single source stories, they're just not reliable. They're barely stories. But
because
we have a person.
that was one of the biggest things with the whole story itself is the verification, because you're telling you have notes from 1966, but we can prove you didn't buy this hotel till 1969.
That's the next thing I was going to get into.
Right.
That the dates are off from purchase.
Right.
And this was found by the New York Times fact checkers, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Like that's so. For people who aren't super familiar with the process, there's a whole fucking group of people whose whole and sole ass job is to fucking take whatever people put in front of them and break it down to fucking smithereens to be
Yep.
able to prove everything that they are writing is correct before they give it to their editor to allow it to go to copy.
Yeah. So
Because nobody
you
wants to
don't
be
lose
on the hook for
credibility
a loss.
as a source, or as a
Yeah,
paper anyway, a media outlet. Yeah.
Nobody
exactly.
wants to be on the hook or liable for a lawsuit because you didn't check your facts before you wrote some shit about some people. So
Fact checkers
Exactly.
are far more important than anybody ever thinks because they literally be having the credibility and reliability
Yeah.
of shit in their hands. So,
All you niggas who sitting at the crib talking about you can't find no job, the government is literally hiring niggas out the ass to motherfucking go and be goddamn what's with the background check people? Them niggas get paid. Like,
mm,
just to like further the point about fact checking, like, when I found out what a background check nigga make, I said, nigga, I'm in the wrong field. This is some fuck shit. Like, yeah, fact checkers get paid dope. Which leads us to the point that nobody can find proof of this murder. And a couple towns over, the same motherfucking murder that Gerald described just so happened to get reported at a hotel, and this lady got murdered the same exact way that Gerald said the lady got strangled, as he watched from his observation deck in his hotel.
mm-hmm.
So now this brings me to what not only are you creepy, my nigga,
you're a liar.
not only is this a crime for having people in your life, but a lot of the people that you're telling us about probably weren't there. The KFC story is now anticlimactic for me. The
Yeah,
fucking
it was very, yeah, you could tell there was some fictional shit going on there. Like,
yeah,
and
cause
Gay
now
wanted it to be real so badly.
he did, but I think Gay wanted to be real more from the standpoint of protecting his own career and credibility than actually giving a fuck about Gerald.
I agree.
Absolutely. There was an interview where Guy got super irritated. I can't even remember what the fuck he was talking. I think he was talking about how upset he was about finding this stuff out about the dates being wrong, and the fact checkers basically bringing him his shit like, yo, this ain't, you know what I'm saying, like
Right.
this is fraudulent as fuck. And then his doorbell rings, and he's like,
get the door.
Get the door. That was just so funny to me.
He was very
You just seen somebody get up and walk past real quick too, like, oh shit.
Oh shit. Then Gerald and Anita. Then after this is happening, and I keep calling him Guy. Gay's having like this like thing where he's like irritated about what's happening with his story. They go to Gerald and Anita, and they're kind of describing their lives, like how they really basically only spend time with each other. They're loners. And Gerald says, basically all our friends are dead. And Anita was like, your friends.
Your friends. They don't want me up in that nigga. Charlene still calls me nigga.
Nigga, every Thursday.
You see what I'm saying? As a matter of fact, what time is it? Shit.
Right.
Your
Take
friends.
Right.
Dead Sugarfoot. I have friends.
I got friends. Look, Anita, one of them old ladies that be at the mall before it open, walking around getting exercise and shit.
With a little cute weights in her hand, talking to her.
Yeah.
Nigga,
talking like a motherfucker. She thinks she's speed walking. She's just holding me up from the Nike store. If you don't get the fuck out of my way.
Move, Anita. So, another hilarious part of this, y'all. So, sorry. So, now Gerald's pissed off, right?
Right.
Gerald's mad. And so we're like, damn. Like, I'm thinking, damn, Gerald's over here mad because this nigga found him out, right?
Right.
Like that he wasn't really being truthful, and he messed up the dates, and he making him look like a bad journalist. And I'm thinking he's pissed off about that. This nigga is mad because in the article, this nigga has mentioned his baseball cards. The same baseball cards that he was just on camera showing you up close and telling you that he got a box of millions of them over there he didn't even look through, and he's showing you all of this and throwing out all of these numbers, millions of dollars, and 1.5 for this, and 500,000 for this, and 250 for this. And now he's mad at Gay for putting that in the article. Not that interaction, but just a quick mention of it. It didn't even seem like it was like a whole big piece, because what would be the point of making that a whole big piece?
Right.
But he briefly mentioned it, and Gerald is on his stair lift, nigga. It's going 0.00005 miles per hour. Because he fat, and he is so mad, and he just like, and like he has too much energy for the stair lift to be going like this, like
he sounded like he dead ass sat on the stair lift, and then it took me like 5 minutes to realize it was on, because he did not go anywhere. Like he had broken the stairwell, like he was still up here.
He hadn't hit the landing, is what we're trying to say. That middle landing, he hadn't hit it yet.
This nigga had explained to us how mad he was, why he was mad, what's gonna happen when he see Gay, and how much he loves his old lady, and he was still in between the first two steps.
And then at the end, like that shit was sick as shit, and it started speeding up, nigga. Like at the end,
get this nigga off of me, shit.
That shit was so funny to me. Me and Autumn were kind of watching it at the same time last night, and she wrote in the group chat, she was like, "Bitch, the stair lifts." Like,
yeah, he went down this shit slow.
That shit was so funny to me. But he's pissed about something that he was just bragging about. Openly bragging, and this isn't a conversation that he's having with Gay on the phone. He has invited Gay and these producers into his home to show them all this, and now, out of all the things you could possibly be upset about, that's what you're upset about.
Yeah, I don't even think he was upset. I think he was, but I think he made himself upset because I think he wanted to be it's classic narcissism in my view. He wanted to be a bigger deal than what he really was, but yet when the things that will make you this big deal, if they pop, because you think you're already the nigga, now you're attempting to play them down, as if Of course, you nigga again. I know those cars weren't worth that much. I've never seen $1 million anything card, but I was ready to go to Colorado and rob your punk ass. So you're telling a fucking in-depth reporter who's been reporting since the age of 15, and he's that nigga. You know what I'm saying? Of course he's gonna talk about this shit. So I think at that point that was him. I'm mad. I'm this. I'm that. You're not really mad, my nigga. You don't have the story's almost done. Shit's running out. There's no reason that nobody needs to talk to you anymore. Now I'm mad. So now you can keep spinning wheels and shit. I think it's just narcissism, to be honest about it. He's lonely. Like you said, Anita's still hanging out with Charlene and motherfucking Patrice. And that nigga's stuck on the goddamn stairlift.
Gerald basically was like, I'm that guy, nigga. Like, not gay. Like, he was very mad. Like,
yeah.
Right, because
he even said it too. I'm the guy. I'm the guy, not him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, because even when we're talking to him, remember he's at the top on the second floor. And he's like over the banister, and he's like, "Yeah, my friend from Minnesota just called. It's all
right.
Twin Cities. Like, what, bitch? What is
all over? It's gonna be in every state.
Every state.
That nigga looked out the window and said, "It's quiet now. It's gonna be busy in a second." No, it's not.
Nigga, he wanted somebody to bomb his house so bad.
Nah, right. Like, if that nigga would have looked out that window and saw paparazzi, he'd have busted nut. That's what he wanted. But it's like,
it is.
Nobody cares.
Oh, and then Gerald said he got like a threatening call, right? Somebody's gonna rob him or some shit or something.
Or kill him or some shit.
He said that the man said, I'm going to threaten you.
I'm going to threaten you. Isn't that the threat, nigga?
That's the threat. Nigga,
Yeah.
I thought I was high. I was high. I was like, I'm calling you to be like, yo, I'm gonna fucking threaten you one day, nigga. You just wait.
Right. I'm just letting you know, nigga.
You sit here and you rue the day. I'll be back. Like, what?
I just want to put my name in the ring. I'm gonna be back with a real fucking threat.
Can I report a pre-threat? I mean, like, how do you have a motherfucking a pre-threat? Like, how do you do that?
To threaten me,
right?
Like, he hasn't yet, but he'll call back soon. He said so. Like, what?
He's gonna call back. And then there's a scene where Gerald has this like black polo with that ugly red tie, and I don't know what he was talking about because it was very ugly. Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. So then this is when Gay comes with the flowers.
Yeah, him and Gay are sitting there. Yeah.
Okay. So it's Gerald versus Gay versus the cameraman, basically. So Gay is sitting and they're face to face with him and Gerald, and basically Gay is asking like post questions, like post game questions to him,
right?
And just kind of trying to answer any questions that he has, or trying to clear his frustration that he was fucking saying that he was having on the stair lift and shit,
right?
And the cameraman asks, "What was the question?"
He said, he said before Gay was here. Because it was one question where he was like, "It don't make no sense," and the other one was pretty much how he said he felt. Oh, how do you feel about Gay writing this book or writing an article?
Like, would you have done it? Like, had you
like differently or some shit? Yeah. And Gay is telling him like, "Yo, fuck that. You already asked him that when I wasn't here. You can't ask him that again." And it gave me Gay to me is, for anybody who's ever seen Roger Stone, that's who Gay Talese looks like to me. But the vibes that he was giving, for anybody that's seen Diddy go off on the Fat Joe IG the other day, like I'm that nigga vibe. Gay was like, "Hey, you can't ask them that. They're trying to make you a hypocrite. Like, these niggas ain't even journalists. Like, shut the fuck up."
Right, he
Stop
really was like, these niggas, he was really like, these niggas are cameramen. Like,
right. It's like, they not credible, bro. Right.
Like, and they're trying to get you to fucking change your answer and fucking make you look like a bad guy. That's basically
trying to make them look like a hypocrite in order to spin the story a little bit more.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Now we're at the week of the book release.
But hold on,
Oh,
one thing I want to point out in that same conversation is when he says to him, he says, "I asked you not to put the murder in the book." He says, "Yeah, but I'm the reporter. I'm gonna do what the fuck I want." And I was like, "Yo, word, like nigga,
yeah,
I
niggas.
respected you the whole time and never did this shit because you didn't want your name nor the hotel in it. So I never was gonna do this. Now that
But
you
the
didn't gave me your
hotel's
name,
gone,
right? You let me use your name. I'm gonna write what the fuck I want. We
I'm
can't even
definitely
prove it was
going
a
to.
murder there. So yeah."
Yeah, so basically.
Which maybe he should have proved there was a murder there before he put that in the book. Just saying.
Right, because now remember they said that when he was watching it on the news, and the news was like, so supposedly they was at 12700 Scranton, and the niggas like, yeah, a murder happened here, but he never reported it to the police, and he's like, I did report it to the police, nigga. You kind of told
You
us you
just
didn't
told us
report
you
it to the
didn't.
police.
You said you didn't, and you
Y'all
waited
still
for the
my feet
maid
on
to
Eddie
find
Murphy
you.
couch, like nigga.
I
So
remember doing that.
the only thing I took from that is either one, he's lying about the fact that the lady died, or he's lying about the whole thing in general.
Right.
Because if the lady didn't die and she was laying on the floor and he was waiting for the maid to find her, maybe the maid did find old girl and she was cool and was like, nah, I don't want medical attention. Because who's gonna go to the ER and say that my pimp/boyfriend choked me out because I lost his drugs?
Right,
Right.
facts. She was
So
just trying to get together before checkout. Shit.
exactly. So it's possible that maybe he did see a lady get choked, but nobody got murdered.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So he's either embellishing the story or it never happened at all.
Real
None.
shit. Yeah, because
For
I don't
sure.
think there's a statute of limitations on murder, is it?
No.
Not
I
even
don't
being
think
an
so.
accessory. Yeah, like so if you're telling somebody that you physically watched somebody get murdered and never said anything to the police, you can still go to jail, my nigga. Like
And if you did report that fake ass murder and it wasn't a murder, you can still go to jail.
you can still go to jail, my nigga. Right?
So
Like
he didn't report nothing and nobody died. Thank you.
and that's it. Exactly.
That lady and that man got into an argument and he left.
That was
That was it. Wasn't nobody selling no dope. None of that shit.
it.
He was
Okay,
a liar.
so this the week of the book release. We meet Paul Farhi.
Yeah.
And he comes out and he's basically on some like, hey, I respect you as a journalist. And I think that you're very dope. But the thing is that here go a whole bunch of shit that proves that all of these dates and stuff that he gave you and said that he had saw stuff because he had owned the hotel and shit, he didn't really own the hotel. So what you want me to
How
do
can
with
you
this
have seen
before I
a
fucking
thing?
blow your shit up? I'm
Yeah.
gonna blow it all up.
Right.
So basically there's 6 years in question.
Kanye that
Um
nigga. I'm gonna let you finish, but
right. But none of this shit real.
right.
So there's 6 years account in Gerald's account that he was not even the owner of the hotel anymore.
Was it 6?
I thought it was
I know it was the
6.
first 3, 66 to 69.
Well,
And then yeah,
that's because he didn't even own the hotel then.
right, and then he
And
sold the
then
shit. Yeah, real talk, real talk.
yeah. So his name is Earl Ballard. He was the owner during those. Yeah, I wrote down during 6 years of Gerald's accounts. Yeah, so I don't know. I think it was 6 years.
Yeah.
But Earl was the owner, and that obviously that fucking message from Paul blew
Where's
gay
the
shit up.
Korean nigga? I ain't
Where
never
is the
met a Korean nigga named Earl Ballard. You know what I mean?
Because Gerald continues to say a couple of times that he sold it to some nice Korean folks.
Yep. And that's why he didn't want the name brought up because he didn't want those Korean people losing money.
Yeah.
He's a
Except for they
liar.
sold it and let it be demolished. So I don't think they gave a fuck. Thank you.
Right, but I don't think he ever sold it to Korean people because how did Earl get it?
Because that paperwork or some of the shit that Paul shows that they sold it to Earl.
To Earl, and not a Korean family.
Well, then maybe he lied about them being
So
no
apparently,
Koreans were harmed or involved in the making of this documentary. There you go.
right, there you go.
There you
So
go.
Gerald says that basically he thought Earl was dead. So he didn't have any reason to bring up Earl.
So he didn't think he should check to see if Earl, you know what? All right. Okay.
So
Don't nobody in this documentary check nothing except for the people being paid to do so.
that's it. That nigga literally was like, it's like you telling a lot of your parent and being like, that fire right there? Nah, I just hold on to these matches with my homeboy. Like, I don't know who did that though. Like, come on, man. You ain't you sold it to a nigga. There's signed paperwork of you and this nigga exchanging, contracting money, and you said that some Korean nigga owned it. Like, come on,
Right.
bro. Stop
Like
it.
all of this is public record. Like to me, it seems like again, I think Gay got too close.
Gay didn't do his
and he didn't
job.
Yep.
do his due diligence. He literally did not do the job that he has been making his money doing this entire fucking since he was 15. And he let being friends with a creepy nigga like a man lets you watch one blowjob through a fucking heat, a
And
fake
you just
heating
kept,
braid,
and
and you
you
lose
are
your
just,
mind.
you
Yeah.
lose your shit.
Are you
Crazy.
not getting your dick sucked at home, gay? I don't know what's going. Is Nan not?
Nan
Is
don't look
man
like
not?
he.
Well, the
Nan's
It's
not
name
not
like
that you.
Nan. I don't know. She
Nan's
might not.
not doing that to him.
So I don't see Nan doing that. So others. Okay. So again, earlier in the documentary, there's some times where Gerald is saying, or he said at one point that he bought the hotel solely for the purpose to do this, right?
Right.
That
Right.
he built that stuff and stuff like that. So now that we know that Earl Ballard owned it for a certain amount of time, he's saying that that was the whole reason Earl wanted to have the hotel. So he gave Earl the hotel because he needed it for those fucking things. So now it's like changed, right? Now it's somebody
Right.
else that wants it, not you. And then he says that after the sale, Earl allowed him to come and go as he pleased. He basically gave him a key, which I think that he was denying to Paul Farhi. It
That is
seemed
that
as
is
if he denied it to that Earl denied it to Paul Farhi, but then Gay went on Seth Meyers and said that he had talked to Earl, and Earl said that he did give him keys.
Yeah.
So I don't know
I don't,
what's what with that.
right. When
Yeah, I don't know who
Earl
did it there.
Earl is like the nigga. Remember when we did the show on the nigga that was the fake doctor in baseball?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And remember the nigga who had nothing to do with it till the very end, and he made all the money.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Mhm.
Earl.
Yeah.
Earl just
Yeah.
popped in like I don't know shit. I ain't got shit to do with shit. But I'm gonna take this money though.
Gerald said Earl was up there watching with him a bunch of times, but he didn't want to put dirt on a dead man's name.
You want to tell the whole world that you got millions of dollars in your basement, but you scared of talking about Earl, nigga? Come on, man.
Well, he
Yeah,
that's
Yeah.
because he thought Earl was dead. So
true.
So,
dead
so
man tell no
basically,
tales. Remember? So
right.
True.
But when they don't be dead.
they
Okay,
can
so
all be
anyway. So basically at this point, the book is just like it's not really a thing.
Right.
Gabe wanted to pull it off. This made Anita very upset. She had to remove her fucking microphone and shit. She was very
Right.
upset. Anita kind of scared me. Like she has some like creepy eyes.
Yeah. Yeah. She I got the um I got the impression Anita to me had Charles Manson met Anita before what's the name is she'd have been a Manson girl. Easy. Easy.
yes, big squeaky from
She
let me
definitely
murder,
has
let me murder
I will
Ryan.
follow. She got I will follow you, but I'm not stupid. I don't that woman's not a stupid woman.
She's not.
She
That's
No,
why
she's a
she.
hella
she called
follower.
in with the hotel and was like, "Fuck it, income. I don't want to work. So yeah, whatever you got to do, bud. You want to build a catwalk up there so you can watch people have sex?
Go
Right.
ahead.
Great. You
Mm-hmm.
don't even got to tell me about it. I'm gonna keep these books like that lady." Like she
Exactly.
said, she was like, I just told everybody that it was made up because I didn't know how to explain to them.
Right.
Yeah. All right.
Um. Right.
Athena
I
just
just.
walked through like, hey, I'm
This is
here.
my show.
All right.
Okay. So basically, like the book just doesn't really do that. Doesn't do that great. As far as like the original launch, because it was originally published July 12th, 2016.
Right.
It's still available places. Like it's not like they like pulled it off the
Pulled
shelves.
it.
Like
It just didn't do well.
it just
It's much
didn't do
like
It's
well.
that
just
shit that happened with Oprah, where that guy said that he was
Jonathan, what's his
Fry
name?
or Fry or whatever, a million
Mm-hmm.
little pieces or whatever the fuck it was.
And I hella read that book. I hella read that book.
Where they said he
Was it
made
good?
it all up.
It was decent. It was just a lot.
Oh, he made it
like,
up. Oh, okay.
Basically, yeah, we're black. Don't do that. So yeah, he was on Oprah. It was like the Oprah book club like selection, but it was supposed to be, again, it was nonfiction. It was a guy who was in a
it was
treatment
a true
center.
story. Yeah,
Yeah,
Right.
he was in a treatment center and he was writing about the people that he met.
Heroin addict or something, some shit like that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was reading about the people that he met in the treatment center, but this was all supposed to be absolutely true. Comes out, none of this has ever happened. He doesn't know any of these people. These people never existed.
Oh, he put a B Simone. Okay, no doubt, no doubt.
Oh, yep. So yeah, I mean that's basically it, you guys.
That's it. Yeah.
Really, I mean, I think at the end, I think that Gerald is happy because I think like now people are watching him. Like we watched him.
That's all he wanted. He just wants attention.
Yeah.
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 Very narcissistic.
That's what I got from it.
Yeah.
Which is crazy because, again, had Gay just said this book was fiction,
it still would have sold.
It still would have sold.
like,
because it's some whether or not they're true or not, it's some interesting stories.
That's some interesting shit.
It's compelling. And so if you would have just said that this was a fictional novel based on some stories you were told, like that would have went over perfectly well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It definitely
What's the shit they say in the movies? If you say based on true events, it doesn't have to be a true movie or some shit like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like it just needs to have like this much.
True. Like you don't have to make it be spot on if you just say it's based on true events. Like you just kind of take the event and make it to what you want to be. So the event could be a baseball game, hell.
Right, but it's right. It's like for all of us who got our dreams crushed when we found out the whack ass Blair Witch wasn't real because it was based on true events. Yeah, motherfucker.
And the true events could have been 3 kids camping in the woods. So
exactly, telling ghost stories. Exactly.
Right.
But
okay, well, but that's it, guys. It was interesting. It's the way that they tell it, and I hope that we did a good job at that kind of. But the way that we tell it is, you're enthralled in the story, and then it kind of falls. The bottom falls from under.
It falls straight the fuck out. Yeah, it's very anticlimactic. I won't lie. It ends with Gay in that dope ass suit. Last thing you see, but it's very anticlimactic.
Yeah, you would think that there was going to be some type of dramatic something, or the book was going to get pulled, or Gerald was going to get arrested, and really nothing happened. They're just 2 grumpy old men, and one of them's a creep.
I literally wrote that at one point, or I think I was telling Autumn, I was like, at this point, it's just like a grumpy old man remake. Like
that's it.
Just grumpy men yelling at the clouds. Just my book.
And you know what? I think another thing too, and it was because Gay mentioned it a couple times. He's like, "Yo, he's 78. I'm 80. Somebody's gonna die soon." And I think after having this great fucking career, a lot of the reason he didn't do his due diligence is because he was like, "I'm almost out this bitch. I just really want to put this book out." I really think because why sacrifice and risk so much? And I think it's because nigga, I'm 80. By the time this come out, I'm 81. I'm dying. I'm lucky to be here now. Is the way he looks at life. You know what I'm saying? And so nobody's really gonna pick on an 81-year-old man.
True shit.
Well, and for to be 80, that nigga got around great.
He really did. He really did.
He was taking down those trains and the subway and shit.
Up and down those steps and shit. Like,
nigga, no knee. I heard no popping of the knees, nothing.
All right, I think Athena is ready for us to be done here.
No doubt.
That's it, guys. Again, Voyeur. You guys can find it on Netflix. And that's it. I'm Chris. That's VJ and Athena, and that's Penrose. And we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.